sorry, I have to call the meeting to order. I apologize. Now we will have a moment of prayer and reflection. The City of Medicine Hat acknowledges that we live and work on treaty territory. The city pays respect to all Indigenous peoples and honors their past, present, and future. We recognize and respect their cultural heritages and relationships to the land. Please rise with me for the singing of O Canada.
With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
This will be our organizational meeting and swearing-in ceremony for Council of 2025 to 2029. Thank you, everyone, for being in attendance. Thank you to the flag bearers of the Color Guard and the Piper for being present. The police and fire service are providing are the flag bearers. And thank you to Randy Fury for singing and Jared Brake for playing the piano. And now we'll move on to the swearing-in ceremony. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of honored guests, city staff, family members, and members of the public who have joined us for this important occasion. We will begin by swearing me in, and following my swearing in, each council-elect will be called forward in alphabetical order by last name to take their oath of office. I will call each councillor-elect individually when it is their turn. So I'm going to go get my oath sworn.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
I, Lindsay Clark, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of the mayor. So help me God.
now present Mayor Clark.
Councillor-elect Ted Clugston.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
See if this is working. Yeah, this isn't turned on, but that's okay. I, Ted Clugston, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present Councillor Clugston.
Councillor-elect Bill Cox.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
I, Bill Cox, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present Councillor Cox.
Councillor-elect Chris Hellman.
Please take the Bible in your right hand. Perfect.
I, Chris Hellman, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present Councillor Hellman.
Councillor-elect Yusuf Mohammed.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
I, Yusuf Mohammed, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present Counselor Mohammed.
Counselor-elect Cheryl Pfaff.
Please take the Bible in your right hand. You bet.
I, Cheryl Pfaff, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present Counselor Pfaff.
Counselor-elect Dan Reinish.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
I, Dan Reinish, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor. So help me God. I get a gift.
I now present Counselor Reinish.
Counselor-elect Brian Varga.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
I, Brian Varga, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present Counselor Varga.
Counselor-elect Stuart Young.
Please take the Bible in your right hand.
I, Stuart Young, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor. So help me God.
I now present to you Counselor Young.
With your indulgence, we are now going to take a little bit of a timeout to take some photos with the color guard before the color guard is dismissed. So we'll do that right here. Everyone is welcome to take photos as well. And we'll take direction from Randy, I think. All right, we will now proceed to appointments of city council members to standing and special committees and external boards, committees, and commissions. So for standing committees, we will have the ALR committee chaired by Stu Young, and we're going to vote on this. I'm just reading it into the record. Vice Chair Ted Clugston, Yusuf Mohammed as the third member, and Mayor Clark ex officio. There will also be created a council employee committee that will have the same members as the ALR committee. Audit committee will be chaired by Cheryl Pfaff, Vice Chair Yusuf Mohammed, the third member Brian Varga, Mayor Clark ex officio. Corporate Services Committee chaired by Chris Hellman, Vice Chair Brian Varga, third member Stuart Young, Mayor Clark ex officio. Development and Infrastructure Committee chaired by Councillor Mohammed, Vice Chair Councillor Reinish, member Councillor Pfaff, and Mayor Clark ex officio. Emergency Advisory Committee, which is established under our emergency management bylaw, is chaired by Mayor Clark, vice chaired by Councillor Cox, and the third member is Councillor Clugston. Energy, Land, and Environment Committee is chaired by Councillor Clugston, Vice Chair Councillor Young, and the third member is Councillor Cox with Mayor Clark ex officio, which just means that you're on the committee as like a matter of your office. Public Services Committee, chaired by Councillor Cox, Vice Chair Councillor Hellman, member Councillor Reinish, Mayor Clark ex officio. Civic Functions Committee, Councillor Reinish. Community Futures Entrecorp, Mayor Clark. Highway 3 Twinning Association, Councillor Pfaff. Regional Drainage, no, I did that one, sorry. Regional Drainage Committee, Councillor Varga. Southeast Alberta Rural Renewal Steering Committee, Councillor Mohammed. Chamber of Commerce, Councillor Pfaff. Cypress View Foundation, Councillor Reinish and Mayor Clark. Friends of Medelta Society, Councillor Pfaff. Intermunicipal Committee, Mayor Clark and Councillor Young. Medicine Hat Community Housing Society, Councillor Hellman. Medicine Hat Exhibition and Stampede, Councillor Pfaff. Medicine Hat Public Library, Councillor Hellman. Municipal Names Committee, Councillor Reinish. Municipal Planning Commission, Councillor Clugston and Councillor Varga. Palliser Economic Partnership, Councillor Mohammed. Physician Attraction and Retention, Councillor Mohammed and Mayor Clark. Police Commission, Councillor Cox and Councillor Clugston. Short Grass Library System, Councillor Reinish. Southeast Alberta Economic Advocacy Committee, Mayor Clark. Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, Councillor Cox and Councillor Hellman. Tourism Medicine Hat Committee, Councillor Young and Councillor Varga. Resiliency and Inclusion Task Force, Councillor Hellman and Counselor Young, Mayor Clark ex officio, Community Vibrancy Advisory Board, Counselor Cox. Can I have a motion to approve the committee positions as read?
So moved.
That isn't one.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any discussion? So we'll now vote on the motion that council adopt the appointments of council members to standing special committees and external boards, committees, and commissions. And that is unanimous. Next up, we are going to approve the deputy mayor and acting mayor schedule. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion is that council approve the appointments of deputy mayor and acting mayor for the period November 4th, 2025 to November 5th, 2029. Any discussion? Do we have to do this one? If I may ask that we amend the motion to approve it just until the end, December 2026.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, and who seconded?
Berger.
Sure, but I guess sorry, I'll wait for questions.
You're the only speaker. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering, I don't have the list in front of me, so who that's going to be till that period? Is that possible to know that?
Yes.
Not that it matters, I guess, but
We're going to try and bring it up on the screen here. And of course, if we want to adjust the schedule, we can at any time in the future. Oh, yeah. Counselor Cox?
Thank you, Your Worship. Doesn't this just follow an alphabetical circuit?
Yes, and I now have the paper, so I can read it. November 4th, 2025 to December 18th, 2025, Deputy Mayor is Counselor Clugston. Acting Mayor is Counselor Cox. December 19th, 2025. Oh,
I don't think, I would suggest we don't need it read now that we understand. It's just going to follow an alphabetical rotation, what, a period of 1 month at a time?
44 days.
44 days.
Yep.
To get, yeah, because we got 8 people moving through. So, yeah, so I think we understand it now. Thank you.
Perfect. 2020. All right. We will vote on the motion. And that's unanimous. Now we will move on to the 2026 council meeting and provisional consolidated meeting schedule. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I will second it.
Okay, so the motion is that council approve the following amendments to the 2025 meeting schedules, adding a council meeting on November 10th from 6:30 to 9:30 PM for budget discussions, and confirm a closed committee of the whole on November 24th from 6:30 till 9:30 PM. I think that that's what he was doing. So is this the motion you're making? Okay, thank you. So,
We have a question.
yep, Counselor Clugston.
It appears the speaker button isn't working. I'd had sent an email to all of council, if you would indulge me as my fellow members, to move the December 1st meeting to December 8th. If that would, I'd like to make a motion to amend from December 1st to December 8th.
So that is in the next motion for the 2026 schedule, right? No. Okay, so
I'm looking for an amendment as well, I think.
okay, so, can I have a seconder to the amendment?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Is it the 1st or the 10th?
Moving from 1 to
Okay.
8, yeah.
Thank you. So we will vote on the amendment to the motion.
I'm voting no.
That passes. And now we will vote on the main motion as amended.
Just have to give you a little record.
That's unanimous. And now we need a motion to approve the 2026 schedule, is that correct? Yes, so the 2026 council meeting and provisional consolidated meeting schedules.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. A seconder?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on the motion. And that is unanimous. I now get to give an address, and I am kind of realizing it might be long, so please bear with me. In Medicine Hat, we can readily see reminders of why our city is great. The Coolies, Clay District, our historic downtown, and River Valley. However, there is something essential to the proper functioning of our community, perhaps even the existence of community, that we cannot see. The machinery of trust humming quietly underneath everything we do. The assumption that we will get what we pay for, that water will flow, that people will stop at stop signs, that strangers will obey the invisible rules of courtesy. Those ordinary expectations are what philosophers from Hobbes onward called the social contract. They are the unspoken promises that make civilization possible. The modern world rarely speaks of those promises aloud. We tend to treat cooperation as background noise, assuming institutions will endure as naturally as gravity. While gravity never fails, governance can fail because it is human. And humans, as both history and biology remind us, are creatures of paradox, capable of both extraordinary empathy and breathtaking selfishness. Our collective story oscillates between these poles: cooperation and competition, fairness and fear, dialogue and dominance. When the balance holds, societies flourish. When it breaks, justice and civilization itself begin to unravel. Polls show declining confidence in governments, courts, media, and even each other. We see it in the tone of public meetings, in the fatigue of volunteers, in the guardedness of everyday conversations. What these numbers quantify is something almost tactile: the thinning of a civic fabric once dense with reciprocity. For most of the 20th century, Canada's social contract appeared unusually stable. High trust in public institutions, a robust middle class, and a broadly shared belief in fairness created what political scientists once called the politics of accommodation. Today, that accommodation is fraying. Data shows that we have rising affective polarization, declining belief in equal treatment, and growing anger towards both federal and provincial governments and municipal governments as well. Economic inequality has widened to its largest gap in decades. At the same time, civic engagement and volunteerism have fallen sharply, particularly among younger Canadians. These trends reinforce one another. When inequality grows, trust falls. When trust falls, cooperation declines. When cooperation declines, collective problems like infrastructure renewal or healthcare reform become harder to solve. This pattern is recursive, a feedback loop of diminishing confidence. Trust is not merely a feeling or an attitude, it is an infrastructure. It lowers the cost of cooperation, reduces the need for surveillance, and makes fairness believable. When it erodes, people begin to guard rather than give, to hoard rather than share. The effect is visible in the granular details of everyday governance: meetings that take longer, regulations that multiply, consultations that become performances instead of conversations. You can hear it in the tone of emails, feel it in the tension of public hearings, sense it in the quiet disillusionment that spreads through communities when promises no longer persuade. These sensations are the emotional data of democracy's slow corrosion. Cooperation depends on memory, reputation, and repetition. Modern life magnifies the cooperation problem by stretching relationships across distances and anonymity. In small groups, reputation is self-reinforcing. In cities of millions and global markets, it must be mediated by systems: credit bureaus, licensing regimes, digital identity verification, and legal contracts, all as a prosthesis for reputation, allowing strangers to transact without prior history. Yet each additional layer of abstraction makes trust more brittle. When transactions occur through screens rather than handshakes, reciprocity depends on code and compliance rather than conscience. Global commerce and digital interconnection accelerate this fragility. Automated trading, offshore supply chains, and gig economy platforms create vast webs of one-time encounters, efficient but memoryless. In game theoretical terms, the shadow of the future that sustains cooperation shortens to zero. Social media intensifies the distortion by inflating visibility while erasing authenticity. Likes and follows mimic reputation but are easily manipulated. Bots, spam accounts, and synthetic personas flood networks with counterfeit signals of approval, corrupting the informational currency on which indirect reciprocity depends. At the same time, cybersecurity threats and phone scams exploit the very heuristics, family names, authority cues, urgency, that once made cooperation adaptive. Every phishing attempt is a parasitic imitation of trust. Platforms like Twitter or X, TikTok, and Instagram reward novelty over consistency, outrage over nuance. The average Canadian now checks a phone 80 times a day, consuming information in bursts shorter than the neural window for deep encoding. In this state of perpetual partial attention, the long feedback loops required for trust cannot form. Reality television and influencer culture amplify the same pathology, performative authenticity. Every act of kindness becomes content, every disagreement a spectacle. Indirect reciprocity, the reputational mechanism that sustains altruism, has been hijacked by metrics. We cooperate not to maintain community, but to curate brand identity. Empirical research confirms the civic cost. Heavy social media users report lower interpersonal trust and higher political polarization. Algorithms cluster citizens into echo chambers that reinforce confirmation bias, a digital version of groupthink. The result is a paradox. Technologies that connect us also corrode the mechanisms that made connection reliable. In evolutionary terms, the population has grown too large and too fluid for natural reputation to stabilize behavior. Modern governance, therefore, requires artificial repetition, audit trails, feedback loops, verified recognition, digital signatures, authentication protocols, and institutional reputation, brands, regulations, to replace the village memory our species evolved from. Cities, corporations, and governments now perform the cognitive labor once done by gossip and face-to-face reciprocity. When those artificial trust systems fail through data breaches, disinformation, or bureaucratic opacity, the collapse is swift because there is no longer personal networks to catch the fall. The architecture of cooperation must therefore be continually renewed through both technological integrity and moral culture. If defection is rational under mistrust, then rebuilding trust requires changing the payoffs. Empirical research points to several levers. First, transparency and reason giving. Studies show that when governments provide clear rationales for decisions, compliance and satisfaction increase among those who disagree. Procedural justice calms the amygdala, making cooperation emotionally possible. Relocalizing decision loops. Smaller nested governance units outperform centralized bureaucracies in building reciprocity. Municipal and community-based institutions like ours can reintroduce the repetition and recognition that digital life erases. Institutional memory and continuity is number 3. Frequent turnover in public service erodes trust because relationships reset to zero. Long-term posting and mentorship restores the shadow of the future within bureaucracy. Algorithmic accountability, requiring social media platforms to disclose recommendation criteria and bot identities could restore the information reliability that underpins indirect reciprocity. Civic narrative renewal, shared stories, culture projects, national symbols, public rituals create emotional repetition. Morality spreads through storytelling as much as through law. Morality spreads through storytelling as much as through law. There is also an important role for principle-based leadership. A phrase Stephen Covey used to describe the decision-making rooted in enduring values rather than transient pressures. Such leadership reorients both leaders and citizens from reaction to reflection. Principle-based leadership also resists groupthink by institutionalizing dissent. It invites opposition as feedback, not threat. It recognizes that justice depends not on unanimity, but on integrity of process. In this sense, transparency is not a moral luxury, it is a neural one. It allows citizens to relax their vigilance and reinvest trust. When leaders behave predictably, citizens rediscover the reward of cooperation. The payoff matrix flips. Participation becomes rational again. This is how cycles are broken, not through heroic decrees, but through consistent fairness that reconditions expectation. For Canada, this means strengthening institutional memory, not just infrastructure, designing algorithms and administrative procedures that reward transparency and reciprocity, and cultivating leaders who understand that emotion is data. Justice will not be restored through slogans, but through the daily choreography of predictable empathy and accountability. Leaders must tell a new story of the social contract, not as a relic of the Enlightenment, but as a living experiment in trust. The narrative might begin simply. We are still the kind of people that keep our promises. When that story feels true again, the cycle will lift. The wheel will turn upward, and justice will once more be not just an ideal, but an experience, something citizens can feel in their bones, as real as morning light on a frosted street. Each act is a reaffirmation of trust, proof that civilization still breathes through ordinary people. Our task as leaders and as citizens is to keep that breath steady. Thank you. All right. With that, I don't see any further business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Hellman. Seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any objections? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.